frozen area. The ground is hard. You can't dig into it.
Yeah, they're like up in the mountains. Which, okay, maybe they weren't even going that fast, but up in the mountains, shit's dangerous all the time. So that's why they can't bury this guy either. Like, because it's just rock everywhere.
So, I mean, yeah, they just kind of have to make the best of what they have at their disposal.
Yeah, which is all the rocks that just fell down, basically.
So as this happens, the driver of the wagon sobs to Kahlan that he is responsible since, he's the one that hit the piling timber, and so obviously the blame would go to him. If it was an automobile in modern times, that would absolutely be true. But Kahlan starts to tell him it's actually her fault because they shouldn't have even been going that quickly at night with no lights of any kind. But she actually just goes with, yeah, it was an accident, so we're just going to call it even.
We're just not going to talk. Nobody's going to beat themselves up about this.
Yeah. Mistakes were made. That's, it's whatever. No, not mistakes were made. Just happened.
But I guess they are moving quickly because they are trying to get to where they're going quickly as a group without anybody watching them. That's the whole point of not having the lights.
Right. They're trying to be stealth. And I know it says it in there that stealth is life.
Yeah. They don't want they don't think anybody's following them, but she said, I think it even says they would be stupid to just assume that nobody's following them.
Which is funny, because the whole basis that the wagon fell over is that they're rushing at night with no lights.
Mm-hmm.
Which would mean that you were being overly confident. And this happened.
Well,
so it's like you can be overly confident about one thing in one area and not another thing in a different area.
Yeah. And what's also kind of funny is we do know they are actually being kind of followed by somebody.
Yeah, I mean, they are actually being followed.
Actually, by more than one people.
Whole group
persons.
of people. Persons?
I don't know. Not even persons, because there's a creature. Gratch is on his fucking way over there.
Gratch, and we also know that, Brogan, Lunetta, Galtero, they're all coming.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody else is, but those people for sure.
Well, and we know that Jagang is obviously,
that.
It wants something to do with her, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she is being sought after. Which is just funny because they're here, and they're not, actively being chased. So it's weird.
Yeah. They're just doing this just because, even though they can't tell that they're being chased. So I can't imagine what the fuck they'd be doing if they were being chased.
I don't know that there really is much to do, given that they are in the woods and it's dark. You could only go as fast as you can go if you can't see.
Or I guess you just have to fight at that point.
Yeah, fucking turn and face them. Don't know if you were ready for this, but it's fucking happening, so... Oh, speaking of shocking things occurring to you very quickly, Kahlan remembers that Cirilla was in the back of the wagon.
Oh, shit!
The back of the wagon that just killed a dude. Because of the rocks. Because of the mistakes she made.
It fell apart.
Yeah, so she, hops into the wagon, checks her over. She's still unhurt, looks like, and in a state of delirium. Which, I don't know, you can get hit pretty hard and not bleed if it's on your head. If it's a blunt kind of...
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking, well, okay, she's unconscious. That doesn't mean anything. That might be very bad, actually. But Kahlan had been riding back there with her to keep her calm if she did wake up, because when she wakes up, she has fits because she's terrified of men.
Okay, great, wonderful, right? But this goes back to her jumping out of the wagon in the beginning. Her jumping out of that wagon in the beginning is kind of like what you were saying about a car crash. Is if somebody got hurt by you, hitting them in the beginning of a car crash and you jumping out of your car during the car crash and then being like, oh shit, I have family members still in my car.
Yeah.
Let me go back to my car. You should have just not left the car during the crash, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, that would have been the best. You got to stay in place, is what I was always told. My father, who was a first responder, said if you're ever in a bad accident and you are hurt in any way, to wait for the paramedics to get there because you don't know if something's broken or not. And that was, so I always followed that. If the airbags go off, you stay fucking put until you are taken out or you're told it's okay.
Yeah. So she like I guess yeah, she jumped out of the back
Jumped out.
of the
Complete
wagon.
opposite reaction of anything we do. We'd be like, no, we'll sit
Like
and wait.
heroic and all, but what the fuck, man?
So Zedd hops up into the wagon, and then he checks Cirilla over, I'm guessing more thoroughly, with his gift, saying that her body is fine, but her mind is still, like, she's still out there.
Yeah.
And he's wishing that there's something he could do to help, but he can't fix brain stuff with magic.
Mental illnesses cannot be cured with magic.
Right. Closest thing we got's weed, so. But he is frustrated. He's wishing there's something he could do to help. And it does have to be frustrating for Zedd to have all this power and not being able to do anything, right? Kahlan is leaping through falling boulders and crushed wagons, and like she's being a fucking hero here, and Zedd has all this power and he can't do anything. He couldn't help Stevens. He can't help Cirilla get any better. All he really did so far was lift a fucking wagon, and they've got Orsk for that. So, I mean, it just, as great as it would be to be a wizard, knowing that there are limits and it's not always just, I got magic, I can fix it. It's gotta be, like, maddening, right?
Oh, I would
Maybe
assume.
not maddening, just frustrating when you could do all this crazy shit with just a thought or just a flick of your wrist, and there's a limit to that.
Yeah, I feel bad for Zedd on like a lot of levels here. Just be like, Richard is still not with him. His grandson has magic, and he still can't fucking talk to him. He's this all powerful wizard, and he can't figure that out either. He can't even have a goddamn conversation with Richard yet. Like, I don't know. I feel bad for Zedd.
You about to rant?
Yeah, no, I don't want to though. I'm gonna pull
Oh.
it back. I thought about it. I was gonna go off on a whole big tangent, and then I was like, maybe we should just get back to the chapter.
Okay. Well, Captain Ryan tells Kahlan that they're still about 4 to 6 hours away from Ebonicia. Not wanting to roll through thousands of corpses in the middle of the night, they decide to stay for the night at this abandoned farmhouse that's kind of nearby, which then means they will see the corpses in broad daylight, because that's better,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I think less creepy. I think probably more smelly though. Like,
Oh, for
you
sure. When it's
know,
hot, yeah.
Yeah, you could roll up at night. It's gonna be cooler, and so you're gonna have to not deal with that so much. But it's gonna be definitely a lot more like creep-tastic.
Yeah, at night, you would definitely have your scopes out. Like, if any one of these fuckers moves.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad because that's their people, but I guess they haven't seen zombie movies like we have. So
Yeah, facts.
I would be in a total
Facts.
different state of mind. But the overall plan here is to make it to the city of Ebonicia, kind of like their rebel home base, where they can regroup and begin to fight off the Imperial Order.
Because as far as they know, nothing's been done towards the Order yet. They don't know shit about what's happening with Richard. Yet.
Right. It's just this man-boy-wolf army against all of them. They don't know.
Yeah, as far as they know, the Imperial Order and like Kelton and Dahara and all those motherfuckers are still ruling over Aidendrill, and they're like the only little seed of hope. But Richard is doing some shit. They don't even know.
He's got all that taken care of. No idea.
Oh, by the way, you kind of are part of his thing too. So.
When Kahlan asks about Stevens, Captain Ryan tells her that they found a place to bury him, and then goes on to say that he would have rather died defending the Midlands instead of in some silly accident. He didn't say that, but I get the sentiment. You want to go out doing something honorable and brave and not, like, roll your ankle in a molehill and then fall down a cliff, like a stupid quote-unquote death.
Yeah, go out fighting bravely in a blaze of glory. Like the Mort Sith, they want to die fighting as opposed to dead, toothless.
Old and toothless.
Yeah, old
right.
and toothless. Yeah, in a bed.
But I like Kahlan's take on this. She's like, hey, he was here, wasn't he? He was part of us, wasn't he? He fought in battles before today, didn't he? He did die in defense of the Midlands. He died protecting Queen and Country and like, that dude's worthy, and he is a fucking hero. There is no difference between how he died and getting stabbed through the chest with a sword. And I mean, in this case, it's true.
Yeah. Well, and he was at those original fights too. So like even some of the newer people, which I don't even know how many people they
I don't think they have a whole lot of newer people.
Prince Harold's people, I would assume.
Oh yeah.
Those
I forgot about that.
Those people weren't there. But so he is one of the original people. So yeah, he did fight for the Midlands and he has been with us. So fuck yeah, it's an honorable death.
Yeah, you're goddamn right. Freedom! Woo! Sorry. But yeah, and Kahlan's stance on this is strong because she knows these guys, right? It's not a joke. It's not something to take lightly.
She went naked
This
into battle
man
with them.
Earned it. So, yes, she did.
Sorry.
But she is going to say as much when she says some words at his grave. And all of this in front of the men because they could probably use a cheering up after what happened and knowing that their queen and their leader believes in them.
Their queen. That still bothers me because it's annoying that Harold doesn't want to be part of the matriarch. I don't give a fuck, Harold.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, neither does Kahlan. And she's a confessor, so it takes precedence always. Like, yeah, fuck Harold.
Yeah,
I
by
just
all
wanna
rights,
say,
he should
fuck
have
Harold.
taken over.
That is such... He doesn't want to be a king. He can get over it.
Like, if you're looking at England's history, and maybe not England, I guess I should say Europe's history with, like, the monarchies and stuff like that, a lot of times you didn't really have a choice. You're the firstborn kid. It's you, dude. That's the end of discussion. It's you.
It's such a perversion to have Kahlan, who is not even, like...
And that's even more, because if it's a woman...
Yeah.
Then they'd be like, no, there's 30 reasons why you can't be the queen.
Like, you should be Wyborn's son, and the daughter or Wyborn's son, who is also the son of our previous queen, should be the fucking king.
Yeah.
Yes!
Yep.
Yes!
Problem solved.
Sorry. Another thing.
All right. Well, still feeling at fault, Kahlan tells Zedd that it just doesn't seem fair. Like, he died for nothing. He didn't die for nothing, but he did. And Zedd just gives her a reassuring hand on her back and tells her, hey, fate doesn't ask our consent. Essentially saying, life's not fair, kiddo. Sorry about that. Oof.
This is a very depressing chapter. Maybe that's why I'm very, like, ranty, because I'm just like,
Are you just not happy about it? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I totally get that. It is kind of a sad chapter, but it also establishes some things magically about Zedd. It establishes where they are collectively headed as a group.
Yep.
And some of the things, I mean, background where they've been for the last, 30 some odd chapters.
Walking?
But yeah, and it offers excitement. That opening scene when she's like diving between boulders and shit, that's intense.
This is book 2 of Lord of the Rings for them. That's what they've been doing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just walking.
Just walking. All right, next movie.
Yeah. A death or two, and that's it. Yep.
That's unfair. I love those movies. Please don't send me hate mail. Fortunately, Jade, there is something that I think might make you feel a little bit better.
What's that?
It's a beer break.
Oh my god, you're
Yes.
so right.
Now, it's not actually a break because we just whole ass made it through to the end of the chapter, but we're not going to leave it out because that would be unfair. This is not a planned thing. Our last episode was the same way. We're just like, oh shit, that's it. It's
They're
done.
baby episodes.
Baby episodes. Yeah, so we just tuck it in on the end. It's fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I think beer anytime is fine. I think this has also been established through the podcast, so...
I think so too.
So today, we have another man's treasure.
Woo!
It's a Midwest IPA, 5 and... I was going to say 1.5, and that's not true. 5.3%.
Oh.
It's got a balanced flavor, malty sweetness, bitter hops, brewed with Mackinaw and copper hops. I don't know if that's a copper brand or copper made out of metal, which I'm sure it's not, but
Nope.
I'm not sure what that is. But I gotta say, it is very, very smooth. It's like a nitro, but it's not. It's not overly hoppy. And this is another beer that Jay